Morning, everyone. Today, as we go into part two of the reading, The Gift of the Magi, we're going to start talking about the concept of theme, which I know many of you have dealt with before, but we're just going to provide some extra clarification here so you know exactly what you're looking for when you're looking for the theme of the text after or at the end of today's reading. Okay, so just a quick review of the definition of theme, right? Theme in literature is a universal idea, lesson, or message that is explored through the work of literature. And a theme cannot be one word, right? So you can never have a theme like love or any other theme that is just one word. It's got to be more than that, right? So if you're looking for an exemplar theme, something that's really important is this concept of being universal. All right, so please go ahead and type that into your notes. Themes must apply to everyone in every situation, right? Whereas a non-example would be that it is not universal, right? So, now that we've established that, right, we have an exemplar. Treat others how you want to be treated, right? It doesn't just apply to the characters within the text. It applies to all people in terms of how you should act. Additionally, right, if we are thinking about a non-example, it is important for Jim to treat Della with respect, right? This is not universal because it only deals with the characters that are within the text. So this is an important distinction. Now the steps for identifying a strong theme within a text, and we are going to use trial by combat as an example. This was from week 2, where the two women had shared identities, but Miss Allen was taking items from Emily, but Emily was unable to confront Miss Allen about it. So, the first thing that we're going to do is establish, right, or for establishing a theme, is identify what is the main conflict in the story, right? That's the first thing we should do. And it's not necessarily a fight, right? The conflict might be look different in different texts. But if we think of trial by combat, which is from week 2, right, the conflict would be that Emily's personal items are being taken, right? That's the conflict in the story. The next step that we need to do in order to identify the theme is to identify how is the conflict resolved or attempted to be resolved, right? Not all conflict is solved nice and neat, but how is it attempted to be, right? So what we have here is that in trial by combat, Emily attempts to confront Miss Allen, but she ends up learning that Emily and Miss Allen are alike, right? They have similar identities. So that leads us to our last step, which is, right, what lesson does this give the reader, right? So we now have the main conflict, how it's attempted to be resolved, right? And the main conflict is Emily's personal items being stolen. She attempts to then confront Miss Allen, but she knows that they are similar in identity, and so that gives us the lesson, right, that people are not always what they appear, right? In the story, right, Emily thinks of Miss Allen as a thief when she initially thinks that she has taken things from her apartment. But she ends up understanding that Miss Allen has a life very similar to her, and she's actually very understanding of Miss Allen, which reveals the theme at the end of the story.